Hey guys, welcome to AmbiguiT. I'm making a video one more time here. I've actually made a video, so hopefully I'll be a little bit more consistent. I had a little bit of a hiccup when it came to my living situation, but I'm getting my feet back on the ground and I will succeed here. I know I will. So this week's topic is going to be navigating through the gay community as a trans-masculine guy. I'm going to put it in the format of 5 things to expect as a gay trans guy. I am not a gay trans guy. I identify as pansexual, but I am in a relationship with a gay cis guy. So this is something that I'm actually experiencing right now. Very good timing. It's always funny how it ends up that way. So 5 things to expect as a gay trans guy. Number 1, questions, questions, questions. We all know that people love to ask trans people questions, and that doesn't stop with the gay community. A lot of the time, I'm not the one who receives questions, but I have received a couple. Of course, they're standard. You know, what are you going to do with your transition? What did you look like before? What was your name before? Blah, 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 blah. Guys. Gay guys. Lesbians. Everybody in between. Please, 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 please educate yourself. In the community and outside of the community, it is our responsibility to not bombard other human beings with inappropriate questions, trans or not. Nobody wants to be asked what they're doing in bed. Nobody wants to be asked what they're going to do with their genitals surgically. Nobody wants to ask what they looked like when they were 15. Everybody had an awkward little mustache when they were 15, female and male. No one wants to talk about that shit. Let's just drop it. I'm just kidding. So how to combat that when you're a trans person in the gay community and you're getting questions? A lot of the times, you're not the one who gets the questions, right? Easy peasy lemon squeezy. No, wrong. A lot of the times, the person who gets the question is going to be your significant other, your friend, your family member, that person sitting next to you at the bar. It's probably not going to be you. A lot of the times, it is you. But most of the time, it's going to be your significant other or someone who's close to you. So, this is a great video for them also. Now, significant other, let's transcend this conversation. We're going to talk to you specifically. You're dating a trans person, and you're being asked a bunch of really awkward questions. I am so sorry. That is something that comes with it. That's something that's always going to come with dating a trans person. Even harder when you are also a part of the gay community and you're getting it. So here's some tools to combat it. Personally, I don't speak for all trans people, but I don't like when people out me, especially when I'm dating them. I don't really like people being told that I'm trans without me telling them, because then it usually leads to them being like, I had no idea. You look so good! And I hate that. That's like my least favorite thing to get. So, don't out your partner. If you are being questioned by your fellas or your sisters, just be polite in saying that it's not your place, you know? If your partner says it's okay, then that's fine. That's between you and them. But, rule of thumb, nobody wants their partner to talk about their sex life with strangers. Nobody wants their partner to talk about their surgical plans with their friends. Nobody really wants their biz all spread out there. So just be considerate. A good thing that I've always said is, you know, that's a really great question to ask them. I'm not prepared to answer that for you right now, but I'm sure they'd be happy once you stepped them aside or took them privately. No, it doesn't take that much. So just try to divert the question, try to notify them that the question is best answered from the source themselves. And tell them, make sure that you set a time aside to ask the question. Don't just put them on spot at the time. Don't just be like, hey, I know you're golfing right now, but what do you want to do with your dick? You know? Just awkward. So, yeah, questions, number 1 thing. The second thing is you are going to probably experience invalidation. We get it from our parents, we get it from our grandparents, we get it from our family, friends, we get it from everywhere, and you're probably going to get it within the gay community too. Just because you're gay doesn't mean you're a good person. I had to learn that at a very young age, and I know that's a little harsh, but just because someone's within the LGBT community doesn't mean they're completely liberal, completely educated. Doesn't mean that they're even educated at all. They could be homophobic in their own. There is a lot of toxicity within the gay community. There's a lot of racism. There's a lot of transphobia. There's a lot of heteronormative ideation. There's a lot of bullshit. And a lot of the times, it is pretty ugly. And a lot of the times, trans people get it. So, it could be in the form of aggressive harassment. It could be in the form of fetishization, being fetishized, becoming a fetish. It could be in the form of microaggressions. It could be in the form of jokes, which I guess goes under microaggressions, misgendering, you know, just nasty stuff. And a lot of the times, like the questions, it's not usually expressed to the trans person themselves, it's expressed to the partner. So a lot of the times the responsibility falls onto the partner or the friend's shoulders, which sucks, but it's everybody's responsibility to make sure that we're holding each other accountable, especially within the LGBT community. So the third thing that you're going to encounter is, I did mention a little bit, the fetishizing and the harassment. So trans people have been fetishized pretty much since bad stuff has been going on. Trans people deal with a lot of stereotypes, deal with a lot of caricatures, and especially in the gay community, fetishes. So I'm not a fetish. Just because I'm small and feminine and fluid in my sexuality doesn't mean that's all I am. Doesn't mean that I'm this little sex toy. And it doesn't mean that I'm this little beautiful trans prince. Oh, the young boy. Like, that's not me. That's maybe a persona that I take on. That's kind of a sticky topic to talk about, because a lot of times someone will reclaim an identity that has been used to harm them, because when you reclaim it, you take back the power. And a lot of times within the gay community, that reclaiming and the power and the toxicness, it all gets kind of meshed up, and it's really hard to differentiate between what's a fetish and what's a reclaimed identity, what's a persona and what's a, you know, like, what's a stereotype, what's a character, and what's a, you know, it's very complicated, and I can't just put it all in one question, but you will experience that blurred line, and you'll experience having to differentiate what is what on your own terms, through your own experiences, through your own boundaries. And a lot of it just takes simple knowledge of what's toxic behavior and what's acceptable behavior. If someone is being abused, if power is being misused, and if someone is being harmed in the process, then that's probably something that should be abandoned. If it's a reclaiming of an old stereotype and this person is now being empowered, this person is now being confident, this person is consensual, this person's an adult, this person's being safe, then that's something that's going to be elevating to the community. So it's important to be able to tell the difference between those. If someone is being abused, something's being misused, then it's probably toxic. You know, there's more than that, but that's where I'm going to leave it at. I think I'm on number 4. The number 4 thing that you're going to deal with is exclusivity and being excluded from spaces meant for you. So a lot of the times, mostly trans women deal with the exclusion of the LGBT communities. Like, trans lesbians are excluded from the lesbian community because they are seen as males, even though they are women entering a women's space. And a lot of the times, trans men are excluded from the gay community because they're seen as women entering a male-only space. These are only products of transphobia and heteronormativity. And those are things that we actively should fight against. So if you see any of that within the community, it's your responsibility to reject that, and it's your responsibility to empower the person who's being targeted. Because even though we are a marginalized community, there are communities within the community that are less fortunate. So it's important to stand up for our brothers and sisters within. The fifth thing that you're going to deal with is just common discrimination. And that kind of goes with everything, but I'm just going to put it down here one more time. Just because you're part of the LGBT community does not mean that you're a good person. And if you're targeting trans people, trans men, trans women for their sexuality, saying that they're wrong, expressing who they are and who they love naturally, then you're part of the problem, even if you're within the LGBT community. Discrimination doesn't stop with the Republicans. Discrimination doesn't stop with Trump supporters. Discrimination doesn't stop with a political party or a status. Discrimination can happen from everywhere, and it happens from within the community very, very much, and that's why it's our responsibility to fight it. My message to you, whether you are a young trans gay boy, young trans gay girl, young cis gay boy, young cis gay girl, anybody in between, a friend, relative, co-worker, it is still your responsibility to hold accountable those you're around. And even if you're not the one who's actively hating, you're not the one who's actively discriminating, you're not the one who's actively hurting a trans person, your inability to stand up for them is just as bad. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope it wasn't too long for you, and I will see you guys next week. Thank you guys for watching. Share this video. It's gonna be a good one, so I'll talk to you guys next week.